Hello everyone, you're welcome to the platform. As usual, the platform where we looked at the English language topics and also literature and English topics. In the previous video, we discussed or looked at one of the non-African poems as recommended by WAEC as an examination body. And in the last video, we looked at the background of the poem and of the poet, so also the subject matter, the form of the poem. And today, we want to look at the devices used in the poem. So let's get going as I'm going to be taking this one after the other and stay tuned. The first thing I'm going to look at there is imagery. And I hope you don't forget the definition of imagery. The use of pictures or images to depict or to carry the readers along when it comes to meaning in the literary work. That is what imagery is. So as this is the imagery as found in this particular poem, which is Binsey Poplars, written by Gerard Manley Hopkins. Imagery of laws permits the old text of Gerard Hopkins, the poem Binsey Poplars. When you look at the lines 1 to 3 of the poem, we have the picture of the cleared forest giving way to burning sun penetration as described as a leaping sun. That is found in lines 1 to 3 of the poem. And also in lines 4 to 8, the picture is shown of a sort of total clearing as new foliage was not spared to grow. That is another picture in the poem Binsey Poplars. That is, the forest is cleared without leaving alone or letting go of the new foliage, the young ones to grow. So everything is cleared. And this is against the mindset or the opinion of the poet. Another one, as part of the imagery in the poem, is seen in lines 9 to 11, where the picture is shown of the migration away of swallow birds. That is, those birds that look almost exactly as bats that used to perch in their colonies atop the Binsey aspen or poplars to provide some shade. That is, the swallows, the birds, they flee away from a particular area since the trees that are meant to be an abode for them is being cut off. So this is another imagery as found in the poem. So also we have in lines 12 to 16 as well. The picture is shown of how the site has turned arid because of a sunburn. After the cut-off or the felling of the trees, the place is now totally invaded by sun rays. And also in lines 17 to 19, the picture is shown of how the new plan for the clearing is weightless against the need for the forest preservation. The new plan for the clearing is weightless against the need for the forest preservation. Everything is totally cleared without sparing any of the young ones of the trees. And more so, we have in line 20, the picture is shown of how the unborn generation will miss the beauty of Binsey aspen or Binsey Poplars. Remember, that name is the name of an area in UK then. And this particular area is being filled or planted with trees. So that particular area to the poet is what? Very beautiful and natural. So the generations unborn in that particular area will miss the beauty of Binsey aspen or Binsey poplars because of what? The felling of the trees. Everything or part of the area is now invaded by the sun rays because there are no longer trees around the place. And lastly, we have in lines 21 to 25, where we have the picture which is shown of how the Binsey aspen or Binsey poplars was destroyed for malicious reasons. Yes, I said it in the last video that when you are to do something, don't consider only your own opinion. Seek other people's opinion before you do it because it might affect other people around. So these people cutting down or felling of the trees around that place, Binsey aspen or poplars, is only for malicious reasons, which at the end of the day destroyed the beauty of Binsey aspen. So this is all about the imagery as we have in the poem. Now let's progress to presentation technique. The poem Binsey Poplars by Gerard Manley Hopkins is presented in first person persona, second person plural personae, and also the omniscient narrative technique. So we have these three features of a point of view in the poem. Now let's look at them. Between lines 1 to 8, Hopkins' technique is the first person persona, and also from lines 9 to 19, we have the technique switches to the second person plural persona, and in lines 20 to 25, Hopkins' technique of narration switches also into the omniscient technique. With the first person personae, the poet displays his good love or passion for the forest of Binsey poplars to exist everlastingly. That is that particular area or location called Binsey poplars or Binsey aspen. To the poet, he adored the physique or the look of that particular area. That is from the first lines. That is from the first lines 1 to 8. There it is shown that the poet has the love or passion for the forest of Binsey poplars, and he believes that it should be everlastingly. And of course, with the second person plural personae, Gerard Manley Hopkins doles out blames to those who caused the destruction of the forest, including himself. How is he involved? I don't know. But some people woke up one day to clear the trees in that particular area called Binsey aspen. And with the omniscient phase of the technique, he presents the so many losses that the destruction has bred. That is exposing the area to the sun ray, direct sun ray. Probably before, when the trees were there, they provide shade to the houses around there, that when sun ray comes or when the sun shines, there will be shade and people will be in front of their houses relaxing. But now that they have the trees destroyed, so people now have direct sun ray or light straight to their windows pane. So that is in the omniscient technique. Another one which we are going to switch to now is the tone of the poem. The tone in the poem is descriptive, as Gerard Manley Hopkins' choice of words in which the poem is crafted is clearly pictorial. Yes, the tone. Remember, the tone of a particular literary write-up could be the effect of the wordings or the words, choice of words used by the literary writer on the reader is what is meant to be tone of a particular literary work. So the tone in this particular literary work is what? Descriptive. That is, it describes the felling of the trees and the destruction that it caused on Binsey aspen or Binsey poplars. And also, the choice of word is seen or is crafted to be clearly pictorial. That is, it gives the picture of the particular area called Binsey aspen and how the trees fell. That is that about the tone of the poem. And also, we are moving to the last area there on this page, which is a mood. Undoubtedly, Hopkins exhibits feeling of loss, for the trees around that place are cleared. In the poem, therefore, unhappy mood permeates the poem. That is the mood of the poet. Unhappy condition. I hope this is clear. Good. Now let's progress to another page. And here we have figures of sound. Figures of sound are different from figures of speech, only to those who know it. Now, figures of sound under this, it is discovered that in Binsey Poplars, Gerard Hopkins' flair for flourishing his poems with rhythmic devices, which is intense. And the intensity is marked by the cases of alliteration, assonance, consonance, repetition, parallelism, and the minor caesura, as you can see on the screen. So let me take them one by one with the instances as we have them in the poem. The case of alliteration first, and here we have it in line 4. We have it thus: of a fresh and following folded rank, on meadow and rivers, and wind wandering with winding bank. When you look at these two lines, you will see that we have fresh following folded, FFF. That is an instance of alliteration. So also wind wandering with winding, WWW there, the four W's are the instances of alliteration. So also we have it in line 9. Oh, if we but knew what we do. That is line 9. We have WW there as well. And also in line 10, when will deaf to hear? When and we, WW. So we have many instances of this in the poem. You can easily locate them in the poem as well. And don't always forget that this analysis is only for those who have attempted the poem before. Then you can now use this analysis to get along to make sure that the poem is understood. I hope this is clear. Now the next one is the cases of assonance. This is seen in line 3 of the poem, and here I'm going to read the lines. We have it in line 3. All failed, failed are all failed. You can see we have A for all, are, and all. That is assonance. So also failed, failed, failed is also assonance because of the word, the sound that we have there. And the next one is the case of consonance. This is seen in line 6 of the poem. I read that dandled or sounded. LED in dandled and also LED in sounded. When you look at them, they form what? They form a vowel sound at the end of those words. And also we have it in line 12. Hack and rack the growing grain. Hack, A-C-K, A-C-K in both words. We have the vowel sounds there. And that is, those are instances of consonants in the poem. Then the next one is a minor suswaya. In line 10, as we have it, as quoted in line 10, that is when we deaf to heal. When we deaf to heal in line 10. That is an instance of a minor suswaya at the point of the long hyphen. When you look at the poem, from the poem itself, you see the long hyphen there. And that is a minor pause. And it is called minor suswaya as well. And the next one is repetition, as seen in the poem. Cases of repetition are intense in the poem, just like the deployment of rhythmic devices. And most of the repetition cases are intra-lines, that is within lines, and the others are new succeeding lines. So I read, when you look at line 1, we have all failed, failed are all failed. When you look at all, that's repetition, failed, repetition as well. Another one is seen in line 5. We have not spared, not one. That is, none of the forest trees are spared to grow or to live. So not there is an instance of repetition. Another one is in line 21, as we have many of them. In 21, we have 10 or 12, only 10 or 12. You can see 10, 10 repeated and 12, 12 repeated also or. So those are the instances of repetition in the poem. And lastly, is going to be parallelism. Parallelism is seen in line 17 of the poem, and I read, where we even, where we mean. I repeat, where we even, where we mean. That is an instance of parallelism. And don't forget, parallelism is a device that simply means the use of grammatical units or figures of speech in the lines of poems or poetry work. So when you look at this particular line 17, where we mean, where we even, where we mean, where we and where we